Hey guys, what is going on? Small Boy Will here, and today, as you can probably see, I am in the gym. I want to do a backflip tutorial because that is what I do apart from reaction videos. I did put out a flips compilation a while ago, so you can definitely go and check that. It should be up on the card there. I'll also put a link to it at the end and in the description if I remember. So this is a tutorial on how to do a backflip. Okay, so when I'm teaching backflips, the first thing I always do is get people to learn a cartwheel, because if you've got a cartwheel, it's very easy to turn that into a back handspring, which is then easy to turn into a back somersault. So this is what you need to get first. Okay, so as you saw from those few examples, with the cartwheels, you can start going sideways and then you can sort of variate it into a round off, which is where you land with 2 feet. And then punch up at the end. This is what you do to get into like a back round off tuck, or I don't know, I'm not a gymnast, I just do flips for fun. So cartwheels really are just trial and error, to be honest, until you get them, unless you've got somebody actually there to teach you. I learned a cartwheel when I was very young, just by myself. You probably see them in the playground by, I don't know, all the girls in your year when you went to school. Step 2, after you've learned a cartwheel, is then to start facing one direction and then end up still doing the cartwheel and center edge. So I'll give you a quick demonstration of that. So one thing, just as I was doing it, I noticed that actually when you're facing one way, actually you can look around, so you shouldn't be getting scared doing this because it's basically like a cartwheel. You can actually spot where you want to put your hands and then you can just kick over like a normal cartwheel. The next step, after you've learned a cartwheel from facing the wrong way, is then to start jumping into it. Now this is where it gets a little more scary for people, but it's exactly the same as the previous step. You can spot the ground the entire time, so if you see if you go blind at any point in the trick, you're probably doing this part wrong. So that will look like this. So that's the little more advanced version. What you can do is actually take it even slower than that, so it's not such a big jump, because I do realise that looks a lot like a back handspring. But to be honest, they're very easy, and you'll end up doing your back handspring by accident, because you'll just fall into it. Fall is in good type of fall, not, death. So I'll do a few more examples for you, then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so the rest of the steps, I've forgotten which one we're on, maybe 4 or 5. The rest of them is basically doing exactly the same thing, but working your hands so they go more up. So I'll show you like a perspective facing my front, and then you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. So we start a lot lower, and then we can work our way so we're going more and more up. So the next one will probably look like this. You can still spot the ground the entire time, so it shouldn't be too scary. But yeah, just have a look at this. So before I was going around here, now I'm going to try to go up a bit more and see what that looks like. Starts to look like a back handspring. But I am looking at the ground the entire time, so it doesn't really count. I still haven't gone over my head. So this still shouldn't be scary at all. You should be able to get this. So we're going around like that. We went around like that. Now I'm going to try to put over a bit more. So this is what you've got to do. You've got to work your way up. Now, don't expect to be able to get this like in the first 10, 15 minutes that you try. You should, if you set your mind to it, be able to do this in a day. Now I know I'm in the gym at the moment, but actually I learnt this out on grass, so you can do it just as easily as I did. It literally took maybe an hour. As soon as I thought about the trick, then it was a lot simpler when you break stuff down into steps. So this is throwing it a bit more over my shoulder. So maybe you have to try that, I don't know, maybe 30 times, 50 times, 100 times, it doesn't matter, it's all doable. Just make sure you keep drinking water and you stay energized, because otherwise this becomes dangerous. Most accidents happen when you're too tired and you're trying stuff that's out of your ability. But this, I know, is in all of your abilities, so you should be alright. So after you've done that, I'll give you an example from the sides, just throwing over the shoulder again. You see how it looks really crooked? Now a lot of people, if you were to do this in your playground, or at a party, whatever you want to do. Most people will mistake this for a back handspring because it looks a lot like it. The next step would be to go over your head. Now this is the bit that is very scary for most people, but honestly, if you've done all these corrections or these steps, then what you can do is actually throw over your shoulder, and if you throw it with enough power, you'll find that actually one day you do go over your head. Now you can force this, you can literally just throw it over your head, depends what your fear level's like. Because it's a back handspring, it's a lot easier to land than a back somersault, but don't expect to land it on your feet first time. You should go there naturally, but if you land on your knees, just be prepared to take the impact on your knees, especially if you're doing this outside, because ground is hard unless you know how to land on it. So this is the back handspring that you've learned. Now you'll see how I bounced into it, but that's just because I'm on a sprung floor. If I was outside, it would probably look more like this. You see how I take a lot more of the impact in my arms? After you've got that, you can do the back somersault. Now this is very different. When you're throwing a back somersault, you're supposed to look forwards all the time. When you're doing a back handspring, you're throwing your head back. So this is the bit that people find scary, but if you've got a back handspring, you're used to going over your head now. So I'd keep practicing that, and then eventually you'll be able to get it. So let me show you back somersault. So I remember when I was learning my back somersault, I'd watch all these videos on YouTube and they'd all say, just practice jumping. And that seemed ridiculous to me because I wasn't doing my back somersaults right. I was throwing my head back every time, a lot like this, which meant that I wasn't actually jumping up during my backflips. I was just throwing everything back and hoping that I land on my feet. A lot of my first back somersaults looked a lot like this. And this. And then eventually I got this. And what you'll actually see in the backflip is how my chest is staying up a lot more and how I'm throwing straight up. Rather than throwing my head backwards and me traveling miles, or me, I don't know, throwing forwards or landing on my knees or anything like that. That's all corrected by keeping my head looking forwards and jumping straight up and then tucking. It's very important that you tuck at the maximum of your jump as well. So the highest you're gonna go, that's where you want to tuck. That's where it gets scary as well, though, because you're flipping a lot higher. So if you're not used to it, it's scary, but it's fine. You'll get used to it. It literally took me an hour, maybe not even that, maybe 30 minutes. And now my backflips are a foot or two higher, which is amazing. You speak to most people, they'll have a backflip and they'll just stick at one level the entire time. To be able to see progression just from that one tip, let me know how you get on with that down below. Okay guys, so I hope you enjoyed that and I hope you learned a backflip as well. Let me know how you get on down in the comments. I did miss one tip, which is to look forward, so pick a spot on the wall and make sure you look at that the entire time. If you do that, then it's a lot easier to get your backflips higher and more consistent as well. So with that being said guys, make sure you watch that video there, and also subscribe just here, and I'll see you in the next one.